Good morning, class. So for today, we will be discussing results, higher education, and life abroad. So here, um, we will discuss results life in Ateneo, UST, and in Madrid. But before that, let's talk about the Gumburza first. So before we talk about Rizal as an Atenean, let us talk about the Gumburza. And later, discuss natin ano ba yung significance or connection ng Gumburza sa buhay ni Dr. Jose Rizal. So we all know that the Gumburza are the following: Mariano Gomez, Jacinto Zamora, and Jose Burgos. So kung napanood nyo yung moving Gumburza, alam na ninyo kung ano yung role nitong tatlong pari na to. But for those who have not watched the movie yet, listen to the discussion as I will discuss who is the Gumburza. So, before that, correct ko muna yung misconception about sa apelyido ni Gomez. So, most of us are confused kung ano ba yung apelyido ni Gomez. Is it Gomez with an S or Gomez with a Z? So, may mga nakikita kasi ako na yung Gomez, kay Mariano Gomez, is letter Z. But, to correct that, yung Gomez is letter S, not letter Z. So, and here is the evidence bakit it should be S and not Z. So, in the book about the three martyrs, Saul H. Gueco explains that when Mariano Gomez took up parochial work, he discovered that he shared his name with a Spanish friar in Cavite and a priest from Laguna. So, therefore, he changed his surname from Gomez with a Z to Gomez with an A. And isa pa, bakit dapat S yung apelyido ni Gomez at hindi Z? Kasi dun sa last will and testament ni Mariano Gomez, ang nakalagay is Mar Gomez de Los Angeles. So, it's letter S. So, again, the correct spelling of Mariano of the Gomez is letter S and not with letter Z. So, whether or not you have knowledge about the Gumburza, let's still revisit the events surrounding them for clarity. So, discuss natin kung paano nabuo yung Gumburza. Ano ba yung significance nila? Ano ba yung ginawa nila? So, it is important for us to know what they experienced kasi nung pagkamatay nila in 1872, it has a great influence on the independence movement and Rizal's life. So, as noted by the historian Teodoro Agoncillo, sabi niya, there is no Philippine history before 1872. So, this is one of the most important events that happened in the Philippine history, the execution of the Gumburza. So, bakit nga ba in-execute si Gumburza? Ano yung kasalanan na ginawa or nagawa nila para hatulan sila ng kamatayan? Yan. So, on January 20, 1872, Filipino workers at the Fort San Felipe Arsenal in Cavite were outraged when their meager wages were deducted. So, kwento muna natin yung background story bago nagkaroon ng Gumburza. So, nung 1872 kasi, alam naman natin na kakarampot lang yung mga sweldo ng mga workers. And eventually, mayroon pa mga dinagdag na mga taxes and other things na binabawa sa sweldo ng mga workers before. So, ito yung kinagalit ng mga workers. Kasi, kung noon, nung hindi pa pinapatupad tong pagbabawas ng sweldo sa kanila or pagpapataw ng tax, noon, they were exempted from paying taxes and forced labor. Uh, and wala pang forced labor noon. However, because of the new law, ito, nagkaroon kasi ng decision itong si Governor General Rafael de Izquierdo na patawan ng taxes and isubject sa polo y servisyo itong mga workers. So, what is polo y servisyo? It's the forced labor. So, sa ayaw at sa gusto mo, kailangan mong mag-render ng labor sa government without pay, of course. So, yan. Nagalit yung mga workers. So, dahil dyan, in the evening of that very day, ito mga workers, they rose up in revolt against the Spaniards. So, naisipan nilang makipaglaban sa mga Espanyol kasi nga, kakarampot na lang yung nakukuha nilang kita sa kanilang sweldo. And then, may forced labor pa. Sobrang taas pa ng tax. So, sabi nila, very unfair na to sa amin. Kailangan namin ipaglaban yung karapatan namin. So, dahil dyan, yun nga, nag-revolt sila against the Spaniards. And yan na yung tinatawag na Cavite Mutiny. However, itong Cavite Mutiny, it ended or it last only about 2 days. Bakit? Kasi masyadong strong yung mga Espanyol. And parang nasunog na yung plano ng mga manggagawa na nakipaglaban sa Spaniards. Parang may nagsumbong na sa mga Espanyol na, may planong revolt. Itong mga workers na to, mag-prepare kayo. So, yan. And aside from that, malalakas yung mga Espanyol. Medyo advanced yung kanilang mga guns and equipment na ginagamit sa pagkikipaglaban. However, itong mga workers, ang tanging ano lang nila is yung kanilang bolo, yung kanilang mga sundang, ganyan. So, yan. Kaya it only lasts for 2 days. So, ano nangyari doon sa mga workers na nag-participate in the Cavite Mutiny? So, the Filipinos who participated in the uprising were subjected to imprisonment, execution, or exile. So, dyan sa tatlo, umiikot yung parusa sa mga taong sumali sa Cavite Mutiny. And, of course, the most important unforgettable act was the garrote execution of the 3 priests. Bakit? Paano pumasok sa eksena itong tatlong paring ito? Kasi, inakusahan sila ng mga Espanyol na yung Gomburza, yung yung reason behind the Cavite Mutiny. So, parang sa mga Espanyol, para sa mga Espanyol, yung Gomburza daw ang nagsimula ng Cavite Mutiny. Sila yung nagplano, sila yung nag-push dun sa mga workers na magipaglaban sa mga Espanyol. Although, in reality, hindi naman talaga sila yung gumawa noon. It's a collective idea of the laborers na masyadong naapektuhan ng mga ginagawa ng mga Espanyol. So, the execution of the Gomburza sparked a wave of anger and resentment among Filipinos. So, yun nga, sabi ko nga, yung Gomburza were accused of being the mastermind behind the revolt. despite of the lack of evidence. Kasi nga, 'di ba, sabi natin during the previous discussion na walang boses yung mga Filipino during the Spanish regime. So, kung hatulan ka ng mga Espanyol na guilty ka, kahit na hindi mo naman ginawa, guilty ka. Mahirap mahirap mag-explain or mahirap mag-express ng sarili mo during the Spanish period kasi hindi ka nga nila papakinggan. So, yan. The incident showed that the Spanish authorities were willing to kill innocent people just to maintain their power, and that it was easy for them to disregard Filipino dignity and rights. So, ano naman kinalaman ni Pasiano and ni Rizal ni Jose Rizal sa Gomburza? So, si Pasiano Rizal, the brother of Jose Rizal, isa sa mga kaibigan niya is si Father Jose Burgos, which is one of the priests that were executed because of the Cavite Mutiny. So, si Pasiano, na-witness niya yung garrote execution ni Burgos. So, masyadong malapit yung loob ni Pasiano kay Burgos kasi si Burgos yung parang advisor, nagbibigay ng guidance kay Pasiano. So, masyadong naapektuhan si Pasiano sa pagkamatay ng tatlong pare, especially sa pagkamatay ni Burgos. So, si Rizal during the execution of the Gomburza, batang-bata pa siya. He was only 10 years old. And Pasiano shared him the story of the execution of Jose Burgos. So, kung matatandaan nyo sa moving Gomburza, nung igagarote na yung tatlong pare, sinama ni Pasiano si Dr. Jose Rizal doon sa venue kung saan gaganapin yung garrote execution. So, kitang-kita ni Jose Rizal kung paano pinatay yung tatlong pare. And because of this, the story left an indelible impression on Jose Rizal, which inspired him to become an advocate for social justice. So, last meeting, 'di ba, na-discuss natin yung first injustice na experience ni Rizal. So, ito, another injustice na nakita niya. Kaya dahil dyan, mas lalong na-inspire si Dr. Jose Rizal na maging advocate for social justice. And yung El Filibusterismo, isinulat siya ni Rizal in honor of the Gomburza. So, yan yung connection ni Rizal with the Gomburza. So, now let's talk about the life of Jose Rizal in Ateneo de Manila University, or Rizal as an Atenean. But before that, let's discuss first the brief history of the Ateneo Municipal. So, formerly, the Ateneo Municipal was called Escuela Pia, or meaning charity school. Ibig sabihin, para siyang public school. Hindi siya nagsisingil ng tuition, walang tuition fee. Libre yung education sa Escuela Pia. However, yung Escuela Pia was turned over to the Jesuits. And nung paka-turn over ng Escuela Pia sa mga Jesuit, it was renamed as Ateneo Municipal de Manila in 1865. So, it was no longer Escuela Pia. So, paano yung sistema ng education sa Ateneo? The Jesuit education promotes physical courses, humanities, and scientific studies. So, in short, ang focus nila is yung physical education, PE, humanities, yung mga history, philosophy, etc. And yung mga more on science. And aside from earning a Bachelor of Arts, so itong Bachelor of Arts, ang equivalent niyan is high school diploma. They also offer vocational courses in Ateneo, in agriculture, commerce, mechanics, and surveying. So, saan well-known yung Ateneo? Sa kakaroon ng rigid discipline and religious instruction. So, kahit dito sa Ateneo de Naga, lalo-lalo na sa high school, masyadong stricto yung Ateneo. So, lahat nila pinupuna, from haircut to damit, sa pagdadala ng libro, always sila-check nila. So, yan. So, now let's talk about the PEPE's entry to Ateneo. So, on June 10, okay. So, again, let's talk about PEPE's entry to Ateneo. On June 10, 1872, hindi pa sa Ateneo hindi pa sa Ateneo siya pumapasok. So, nag-iisip pa lang siya ng mga school kung saan siya pwedeng pumasok. So, nung June 10, 1872, nag-entrance exam siya sa Colegio de San Juan de Letran. Kasi yan yung initially target school ng parents ni Dr. Jose Rizal para kay Rizal. And however, excuse me. So